Christmas week. It's Christmas week.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle
It's
all
the,
the way.
If you,
Humbug.
I know we go globally, but if you do support Christmas, celebrate. That's what you do.
Please give us your support for Christmas.
I'm strictly a Kwanzaa man myself.
Yeah, we are the Trailer Island podcast. We're a couple of days out before Christmas. Oh my God, it's so exciting. Is it?
Christmas is Friday this year.
Yeah, I think so. What is it, Wednesday
What a great
today?
day for Christmas to be on.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Happy days.
It's
Yes.
interfering with my weekend. It is.
Oh,
There it
you
is.
poor thing. Poor Steve and his Christmas grinchiness.
Christmas gives me an excuse to overeat.
I'm not a Grinch. The Grinch is redeemed by the end of that film. I'm never going to love Christmas.
Yeah, all right. I think we should just... You know what? Steve is a lost cause on this one.
Yes, well, we are the Trailer Island podcast where we compare films and their trailers. Did the film deliver what the trailer promised? And this week we figured it's a Christmassy week of sorts. What's a new, reasonably recent Christmassy film? And we settled on this one.
Iron Man 3.
That is a Christmas movie,
It is a
isn't it?
Christmas movie.
Oh, I need to watch Iron Man 3 again now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's because it's Shane Black, isn't it? Who he loves Christmas. He has a weird
Yeah.
obsession with Christmas, and so he likes to just set because he was involved in Die Hard, wasn't he?
No, he wrote Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon,
and that's
the
a
one.
Christmas film as well.
Yeah,
And then I think Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, his first directorial film, that's also
yeah.
a Christmas film.
He loves Christmas. Anyway, we're not talking about Iron Man 3 today.
Well,
are we?
we talked about Lethal Weapon. Speaking of Lethal Weapon, who stars in that?
Mel Gibson.
Hot damn.
And this week we've got a Mel Gibson film. Is he back? Is he back on the horse? What's going on?
Was he ever off the horse? I mean,
I don't know. Oh, he was
He was.
he was pulled over for a while there, I think.
Are you saying horse?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes. Who would like to introduce this week's film?
Steve, would you?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
This week's film is Fat Man.
I've lost my influence. Maybe it's time I retired the coat.
You still have it.
Some kids with a deer rifle put 2 holes in the sleigh, one in me. All I have is a loathing for a world that's forgotten.
The United States military would like to procure your services.
This is a one-time deal, gentlemen. How are you, Mike? Nicole and the kids are well, I hope.
Where are you?
You just lost a big son!
What's the job?
I'd like you to kill Santa Claus.
I'm looking for the Fat Man.
You can't be serious.
This is what people actually think of me. Christmas is a farce. I am a joke.
What's the purpose of your visit?
Hunting. I'm gonna kill some things.
There is a rising number of our youth making poor decisions.
Want the big man's head.
Severed heads rot, they mold.
They don't want his beard.
I'm not shaving off a dead man's beard.
Your workers sure have healthy appetites.
That's why elves live much longer than humans.
And Chris, he does the same?
No, it's a giving that keeps him young.
I've come for your head, Fat Man!
Dashing through the snow. No one horse open
You think you're the first?
all the fields will go.
Think I got this job because I'm fat and jolly?
Nothing all the way. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh.
How come while you sleep? The Fat Man's got his eye on you, kid.
Hey, whoa!
Oh, that's Donner. Lucky it wasn't Blitzer. Should tear your package clean off.
Okay, I'm going to start by just saying that trailer is amazing. I love that trailer, but this is why I am now so angry because, okay, we'll start with the trailer. I don't want to go into like rant mode, all right? It is Christmas and we're all about just Christmas cheer, and I love Christmas personally. I think Christmas is a great time of year, and this film should have been a wonderful Christmas film.
It is a Christmas film.
Well, it is a Christmas film, but that trailer has... it leans into those stereotypes and cliches of Christmas. You've got the Christmas carols and all of those kind of sort of things, and these kind of wonderful one-liners in that trailer, and all this heart and fun. And then when you watch the movie, it's this really dreary and drab
Disagree.
slog. This film was such a just missed its potential.
Disagree.
In my opinion. And that's the thing, I was so excited for this film because that trailer I think is absolutely terrific. It really gets you hyped up to see Father Christmas be John Wick, basically.
Yeah.
That's what that trailer is selling. And I'm keen to talk about this film because I really feel like this film did not live up to that trailer at all.
It's weird because in the film, Christmas occurs like halfway through the movie. I just thought like the whole like sort of third act of the film might actually sort of take place at Christmas, though it doesn't.
No,
it takes
it
place
doesn't.
like New Year.
Yeah, it's
or like
sort of
2 weeks after it.
The actual him delivering gifts is sort of just glossed over as a short scene. He's like, "Yeah, we'll be right back," and then he just comes back. And
I want to talk about that as well because I was sitting there and I was like, this looks like a really cheap film to make, and I was counting every time that they sort of glossed over something that might be a little bit expensive to film. And so
I looked at the budget. It was $20 million to make this,
Yeah.
and I think most of that went into Mel Gibson's pocket.
and Walton Goggins as well.
It doesn't look expensive, does it?
I looked the other day, and it only made like $400,000 worldwide.
Take
or in
my
America.
money.
Now, we should talk about what the film is actually about,
Yes,
just for our dear
Good
listeners.
idea.
So this film, despite my own reservations about how muddled I think the plot is I'll try and get this as simple as possible.
Muddled the plot. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, I have some big issues with this movie. Like, strap in, ladies and gentlemen. No, this film, Father Christmas, is played by Mel Gibson. It's a realistic reimagining of that character. He's not got the big red coat or anything. He's just like a normal big person who lives in the North Pole, or the northern part of America, actually. I think he's in Canada, sorry. And so he's doing his thing, and there's a bit of a commentary on how people are losing the spirit of Christmas, and sort of their business, if for want of a better words, is dwindling, and they don't seem to feel the love anymore. And then on the other side of that, we've got a young rich kid who gets a lump of coal for Christmas because he's a bad boy. And he decides to hire a hitman, played by Walton Goggins.
Walton.
Sorry, Walton Goggins. I thought it was Walter.
No, it's Walton.
Walton Goggins, there you go. And he hires this hitman to kill Father Christmas. And Walton Goggins also has his own motivations for hating Father Christmas as well. So he's more than happy to take the job. And that's pretty much the film, really. And there's also there's a subplot about Father Christmas, or rather Mr. Kringle, as he is in this film, and Mrs. Kringle, not having enough money, so they accept a contract from the military to make weapons within the year to sort of make up some of those losses that they're having. And that's sort of throwing up some sort of doubts of, well, what are we doing? What are we here for?
See, what you've just said there is a really well constructed character piece.
This film, the premise is terrific, and is so exciting. If Edgar Wright made this movie, it would be amazing. Like, I don't want to jump to the end, but there's just so many missed opportunities. Like, where was at the end and during this massive fight? Well, I say massive. It was just they just fire some pistols at each other and it's over. When did Father Christmas come out with his big coat and say, ho, po, and get out some Gatling guns on that kind of thing? Like, it needed that kind of comedy. They played it too seriously and everyone's too broody. There's no heart, there's no love, there's no fun. The person having the most fun in this is Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
But he's the only character who I thought actually wanted to be there.
I think it's serious because it wants to concentrate on character motivation, and I don't think the character motivation in this film is anything outstanding. It's not amazing writing. It's all been done before, but they lean into it, they enjoy it, and they make the most of it as well.
They do what they can with what is a very poor script.
They do what they can with the $20 million they're given.
I just think that this film, and also because of that trailer, like there's no fight scene with a Christmas Carol over the top.
Doesn't need to be.
The music is quite good in this film. I actually quite like the score. I just think that if you're going to make a film as with a ridiculous premise, like someone's going to assassinate Father Christmas, you need to have fun with it. You can't play it straight.
You don't think they had fun with this?
I really don't think they had fun. I think they said, let's try and be John Wick and take this as seriously as possible and be gritty and be Jason Bourne.
I didn't get that feeling from it at all.
I was so angry when I watched this film.
This is not a great film.
No,
Okay,
it's
I
no,
wanna
it's
stress
not.
that, but-
it could have been a good bad movie. Like
I think it is a good bad movie.
I don't think it is. I got no joy out of this at all.
Oh, I enjoyed everything. Every time I saw Mel Gibson on screen and the writing they did for Chris Kringle, finger quotes, I was enthralled. I was like, okay, I can see where this is going. I'm like, this is Chris Kringle at his lowest. What's going to push him back into the hopeful spirit?
Mel Gibson does have some really nice moments in this where he does tear up a bit when he's talking to his elves and when he thinks he's betraying his values, that kind of thing. Like there are good bits in it. Don't get me wrong. I particularly like a montage of when Walton Goggins' character is driving from America.
I love that.
And it's just all these jump cuts, just basically through his windscreen, and you sort of, stuff changes on his dashboard. He's got a few souvenirs and stuff. That was quite good. But I just felt like that was sort of alluding to a style of film that just was under the surface of this, with a different director or a different team, could have pulled more comedy out of it. And this team that they had they just weren't tuned into it, I think, as much as they could have been. I know I've got really fired up, and I'm sorry. Merry Christmas, everyone.
But no, that's okay. I, as I seem to have done throughout this year, sort of sit in the middle between you two guys, where I thought Mel Gibson in this was fantastic. I really enjoyed every single bit of him in this, but everything else was only skin deep. They didn't really dig into the lore of things too much. There wasn't, as Matt says, enough of that stuff that makes me go, this guy is Santa.
You would have thought someone before Walton Goggins has gone, I'm pretty sure I could track Santa through the postal service.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know. Father Christmas is, we see him as this jolly guy, and in this he's gun-toting dude. And like in the trailer, I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm going to really enjoy this. But, they didn't get into, he just goes and comes back over a night and he's done Christmas. We're like, oh, so we're not getting any of that? We don't really get much of the assassin. What's his name? I know it's Walton Goggins, but
They call him the Skinny Man, or he does say his name as well. I've forgotten what it is, though.
it doesn't
Skinny
matter.
Man.
Skinny Man. He's collecting gifts that people have got from Santa. Like, that was never really fleshed out. Like, we know in the end, yes, because he got a thing of coal, or he only ever got a small toy, and he's trying to collect all these other toys. I'm like, that was sort of it.
But why is he doing it?
Exactly. And what I really dislike when a film does this to show someone as being bad, really unmotivated reasons for killing people. Just randomly killing people because, like, oh, you might have seen my face, so I'm just going to, like the guy that just helps him in the postal service.
Yeah.
Why shoot a guy, then put his jacket on, then go in and shoot another guy, and then just walk out?
Now, I agree with you there, but strangely enough, when that guy was trying to help her and he's trying to find the pen.
Yeah.
And he can't find the pen, and he's going, no, it's to the left. There you go.
Yeah.
That was the kind of fun I wanted more of.
Yeah.
That kind of like, this guy's at gunpoint, and then there's suddenly this sort of absurd comedy where he has to write something down, but because he's so petrified, he can't look to see where his pen is, and
because he's got a gun to his face.
Because he's got a gun to his face. But it's got that kind of comedy of the assassins going like, okay, yeah, no, to the left. Yep, no, yep, there it is. Okay, now write this down, or write it down. I wanted more of that.
Yeah, well, I agree, and I just really struggle with the unmotivational killing of people just for the sake of showing someone being bad. Like, it's not actually mean anything, and it's not a smart move by the character either.
And it's
You're
not
doing
character
stuff,
development or anything, is it?
No,
Really?
it doesn't build on anything. It makes me go, oh, well, that's just sad. It doesn't make me go, oh, that was silly. I'm just like, it's a stupid move by the character, and to me, that's really poor writing.
In fairness,
it's lazy.
It is a stupid movie.
It is, but you can be smarter about things than that. You can get more out of it by writing smarter than that, being more clever about your character's motivations, which is simply by just not doing what they did. You could just move on from something.
I was sort of expecting the Skinny Man to... They give him a little bit of subtext as well. I mean, he cares for a hamster, and they sort of try and push this, he does care a little bit sort of motivation, but when he does stuff like that,
just dumb.
You go, okay, they're really, really dialing it back to single-dimensional character here.
Yeah.
Because I like the hamster stuff. I thought that was an interesting element. But again, they didn't push it far enough.
Like, I was expecting the hamster should have died.
Yeah, I thought, or maybe Father Christmas was, or someone Father Christmas related, like an elf, would accidentally kill the hamster.
Yeah,
which
they
would
probably
then...
did freeze to death.
we don't know what happens to it, do we, in the end? It just disappears. He buys a bigger cage for it at some point with a wheel.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny because he has it up on the dashboard and he's like running as he's driving. But then the hamster just, nothing happens with it.
I think that the whole subplot of them needing the extra money with a military contract didn't need to be there.
I think it was tacked on because the elves are alluded to for the first half of the movie. We don't see an elf anywhere, but as soon as this military subplot sort of comes in, that's when you see the elves. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I think in either like the end stages of shooting this film, they've come up with this to extend out the 90-minute time frame. And it felt tacked on.
I wanted more of the magic of the elves doing stuff.
Absolutely.
I wanted to see them, they're building up to Christmas. They need to be building all these toys. I want to see the magic of all of that happen.
Do you know the one moment in this film where I thought suddenly it was going to do something really clever and quite cool? Was when the military do sort of take over. They take over. They're not actually malicious in this film. It's a contract. They're not actually trying to destroy Christmas. But they cut off the bells of the elves' shoes.
Yeah.
I think for health and safety, I think is the reason.
Set off the metal detectors.
Metal detectors, that's right. And I thought that was an interesting element they could have built on, which was if you lose that kind of paraphernalia, that's what Christmas is about. The kind of it's the Christmas tree, it's the Christmas hats, the tinsel, all that kind of stuff. I thought that was going to be a thing that they were going to do.
I thought they did do it.
Well, for me, it was just that one moment. And then after that, they kind of just went, now they're just happy working for the military.
I thought that played into Chris's character motivation a little bit more, his arc. I thought
Perhaps.
he was sort of losing the magic of Christmas, and the US military coming in and taking over was sort of making that a little bit worse as well.
Like everything in this movie, they just didn't take it far enough. Where was the confrontation of Father Christmas going to John saying, you need, I get why we're doing this, but can you give us something back kind of thing? Like, let us do it our way.
Imagine if we got a scene where Father Christmas, he's being beaten down by this guy, and all of a sudden, through the power of Christmas, the elves have reattached the bells to their shoes, and they come out and they are badass. And they are a force to be reckoned with.
That would have been great.
That would be $10 million over budget. You know what this film actually felt like? It felt like a really, really good quality student film.
I disagree.
This was made by the top people in their class, and they're like, okay, here's 90 minutes, you do what you need. I'm really, really interested to see what these two directors do next.
I'm not. They're dead to me. This film is...
Merry Christmas, everyone.
This film is just missed joke after missed joke. Like, when the elves start making these weapons for the military, where was a joke where, because they're so used to making Christmas toys, the first few weapons that come out are Christmas-themed or have, like...
Nah, I hate it.
I think that would have been really funny. Like, they're so set in their ways. Like, it was just...
You've been watching the Santa Claus again, haven't you?
Oh, that first Santa Claus movie is really good.
It isn't.
It is. It's a great movie.
You're talking about the Tim Allen film?
Yeah, the first one.
Right.
I really like.
The one that's based on a lore premise.
The others, not so much. Now, I want to talk about the structure of this movie as well, because we established that this assassin character hates Kris Kringle already. Yeah. So why on earth do we have a child character who hires him?
I love it.
Firstly, the child actor, all child actors have this issue, but he's terrible in this film. And he has terrible dialogue. And I hated every moment.
Contest.
He was on screen. I thought, I'm just going to tune out until this scene is over. Because Walton Goggins should have been the primary antagonist without this kid character pulling the strings. I think it would have been much better. The film, firstly, the first half hour can be skipped. The film should have started with the phone. If we're going to keep the child character hiring the assassin, the film needs to start with the kid waking up Christmas Day and getting coal. That's where the film needs to start. That happens half an hour into the movie, by which point I've already tuned out because it's boring and god-awful. And it's like, that should have been the beginning, and that would have got you more invested. And then, at that point, you as an audience member are thinking, what, so are we talking about the actual Father Christmas? And then the film can really enjoy actually introducing you to the real-life Kris Kringle. And you go, oh, wow, like he's actually real. And that would have been a much better way to have structured this film. Either cut the kid entirely because you don't need him, or if you're going to keep him, start the film with him making the phone call to call the hit on Kris Kringle. Anyway, that's my piece.
It is a trash film. I'm not
I was
contested.
so angry.
But I think this is a prime example of a good bad film.
No, it isn't.
This is like Mortal Engines level for you.
So by that argument, you should really like Mortal Engines.
No, that's a trash film.
No, you see, Mortal Engines actually has
Trash in it. Yeah,
a
I saw
structure
it.
behind. Look, we're not going to drag out that conversation again because that podcast goes for about 40 minutes, I think. I forgot what I was about to say now. When you have those, films that are so bad they're good. Speaking as an adult, I would suggest that they only work if you can sort of see yourself sitting down with a few mates, have a few drinks, and just laughing at the movie.
That's what I would do with
like,
this.
Like Nicolas Cage's Wicker Man. Like, that is one of those movies. This film, if you sat down with a few drinks, you would end up shooting yourself through the face.
This is terrific. This is something you can actually sit down and go, why is Walton Goggins doing the things that he is doing? And then laugh at that. I absolutely... I've got a soft I'm adoring this a little bit.
Walton Goggins' stuff was the best in the movie. I do like Mel Gibson in this film, but Walton Goggins looks like he had the most stuff to do, per se.
I really like the head elf.
I really like all the principal actors in this. I thought Mrs. Claus was fantastic.
She looks like
Miss Kringle.
Miss
Kringle,
Miss
sorry.
Kringle, yeah.
She was great.
But she was the only one that doing she was always making cookies, which was a Christmas thing, and we should have had more of that.
I did like she'd make all these cookies, and Chris Kringle was just like, he was sort of angry, and she'd offer him cookies, and he's like, yeah, all right.
It sounds like you two wanted this film. You wanted all the bare bones, but you wanted it to be set in Tim Allen's The Santa Claus universe.
Not specifically that universe, but I just wanted it to be more Christmassy.
Yeah,
because that trailer has Christmas carols in it.
And I think that's where it really misses the mark, is that I don't think it's a Christmas movie.
I think it's a Christmas movie.
It just happens at Christmas time, but it's not a Christmas movie.
I personally think Prometheus is more of a Christmas movie than this, because Prometheus...
technically, yeah, isn't it?
Because Idris Elba puts up a Christmas tree in Prometheus at the beginning, and I think that's more of a Christmas film than this... sad excuse.
Realistically, by the time the action happens in this film, it's probably around Easter, so it's sort of an Easter film. Is it a good Easter film? No, it's a good Christmas film.
No, I won't be watching it again. I started watching this because I was like, okay, I need to get through this. Matt, you'd already told me it was terrible. Steve, you told me you enjoyed it. So I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this now. And I put it on, sort of got halfway through, and my wife, she came in, started watching it as well, and she was just like, what is, and you got to the bits where he's just randomly killing people. She's like, this is just
missed potential. This film really could have been something special. This really could have been something great.
You know when someone looks at you with real disappointment
every day.
That was the look on her face at the screen. She was just like, whoa. Like, she looked genuinely frustrated.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I was like, oh, did I forget to do the washing? And it's like, no. She was annoyed with the movie. I was like, you know what? That really visualizes how I feel about this in parts too.
Was she more annoyed at this than she was at Mortal Engines?
Oh, that's a good question.
Not to put words in her mouth or anything, obviously. Maybe we shouldn't say.
I think she probably enjoyed Mortal Engines more than this, and I think I might have enjoyed Mortal Engines more
There's
than this.
more magic in Mortal Engines. There's more heart.
And trash.
Right, come on, let's... I don't know what much else there is to say.
Okay, no, I would actually like to talk about something I actually liked about the movie, because despite I am quite angry, as I'm sure everyone's picked up. But having said that, there are elements of this that I really liked, and chief among them was that scene where Mel Gibson has to address his elves to tell them, "Hey, look, we're going to accept this contract from the military." I thought that was actually really beautifully done.
Yeah,
that was really nice. Mm-hmm. And again, any scene with Walton Goggins, apart from the shootout at the end, which was really disappointing. They basically fire a couple of shots at each other, hide behind a log, and then it's over. I found that a lot of
spoilers, Matt. People are going to see this.
Do not see this movie.
Man.
Don't go.
Ruin the magic.
Oh, there's no magic.
Christmas magic.
You just watch Die Hard. Okay, that's a better Christmas film.
We're a few days out from Christmas, Matthew. Show a little cheer. Didn't you just preface this with,
I know,
things I want to talk about.
and then I got really angry again. I'm really sorry, everyone. No, Walton Goggins is really good in this film. He's not quite as fleshed out as he could have been, but I feel like there's some stuff with his character that's quite interesting and quite cool, and his performance is actually quite good. So that's worth seeing. Mel Gibson is great. I loved Mrs. Kringle. She was lovely, and she has some really good scenes where she has to talk up Kris Kringle, where he's feeling down, and she tries to put him back. But their relationship is really nice in this. I really liked that. And so there are actually some really good things in this film. I just feel like it just missed the mark ever so slightly, and it could have been so much more special.
Plus, you also get to see Santa post-coitus as well. You've never seen that in another film, have you?
Well, no, this is true. Yeah, there you go, everyone.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah, that's in there too.
Making little Santas.
This is an R film, isn't it?
It is.
It's R. I think mostly for the
Is it?
violence.
I would say mainly for the violence because the language wasn't that. Sorry. There was one other thing I loved. There was one thing I.
I'm slowly turning him.
Don't stop the recording. What I loved is this. They did play on the fact that Father Christmas obviously knows everyone.
Yeah, I like that bit.
There was a
That's good.
lovely scene at a bar where he tells this guy who's hitting on the barmaid, "Hey, you should go home to your wife and kids, and be a good boy," essentially. And he does, and that was Father Christmas doing good things. And then when the military are over at his place, he just, because he knows everyone, he just refers to everyone by their first name, and they always look kind of confused, like how, because I don't think a lot of them have actually been told who he is. I feel like that was a secret only the generals and the higher ups know, and they're just there to guard the exteriors.
Or when those two suits rock up, they were like, "We were warned that you were."
Yeah,
that you knew that sort of thing.
But
there's a bit of lore and
there's a bit of lore,
stuff about the universe that kicking
but
in.
I love
there.
how
That was about
he'd be walking past a couple of soldiers, "Hi Mark, hi Tim," and they'd like go, "Hi," kind of. I thought that was cool. That was really nice.
It was endearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are we going to give this?
Oh, it's got to be cookies. Miss Kringle's cookies, surely.
Not shoe
Santa's
bells.
heads.
Shoe bells. I think cookies.
Police cars.
Santa's heads.
Christmas
Lumps
cookies.
of coal.
Santa's heads.
Not Santa's heads.
Christmas cookies.
I think it is Christmas,
Ooh,
everyone. It
what
is
about
Christmas.
the real... Oh, I just remember this. The really weird weapon he's got like strapped to his like shin that stabs things.
Oh yeah. So okay, actually,
stop.
we did do Mortal Engines a few weeks ago. Was that contraption
Better.
on the same? Was that better or worse than the
Better.
backwards shoe?
Much better because it was
Backwards shoe is
practical
stupid.
and didn't rely on a single move. You could actually be malleable with this thing.
Shin swords. So what we're looking at?
No, Christmas cookies.
Yeah, all right, Christmas cookies. Yeah.
This is a really good bad movie. 2 stars. All the performances are pretty great. But if you really, really like Christmas, you love the message of Christmas, this isn't the film for you.
No.
If you've lost all hope in humanity, the event of the year as well, this is definitely the film for you. It's going to instill a little bit more hope in you. A little bit more hope. The Santa coitus is definitely a couple of extra marks right there.
You don't see it though.
And I think the cookies...
It's quite subtle.
The cookies in this film are pretty much food porn because they look delicious.
So did you say 2?
2.
So all of that and you give it 2?
Yeah,
That was actually a lovely review.
It's a bad movie, but I liked it.
Hey, look, I can't judge you for that because I do like Mortal Engines. So.
No. We'll finish with Matthew.
Okay.
I'm gonna. I disliked it more than I liked it. So if I liked it as much as I disliked it, it'd be 2.5. But I disliked it more than I liked it, so it's going to be 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And all the principal actors I thought did a really good job, but just the skin deep story, not really fleshing things out and really glossing over what we were promised in the trailer, just didn't sell it for me. So for other reasons, I'm going to go with 2 as well.
I'll try and be as quick as I can and not get angry. I'll just be quick. For me, this film, again, if someone like Edgar Wright had directed this and it was more like Hot Fuzz, like, when Simon Pegg rides into the town square in Hot Fuzz and, he goes morning and he's got the shotguns on his back. That's what I thought this was going to be from the trailer. That's what the trailer kind of made me think I was going to get. And I think that's why I was so disappointed because the film is not that. And that's what I really wanted it to be. So I really wanted to like this film. And I just found it just didn't get to the heights that I thought it would, really. Again, like, great cast, and it's shot well. The soundtrack is terrific, but I just think the script and the direction just lets it down a little bit. Again, really, really wanted to like it, and I think that's because I had my bar so high going in, possibly why wasn't a fan, because I had such high expectations. So I'm going to give it a 1.
It might be our lowest score for the
It
year.
is.
And I love Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Speaking of someone who's just gone through all the tallies for the year, this is the lowest scored movie.
Oh, is it the worst movie of the year, though?
No.
No, that was a Taylor Swift thing.
No, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Well,
Wow.
no, there was another one we weren't real happy with. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Next week, we'll get to that.
What I
Yeah.
would say is, if you've listened to this, dear listener, and you're not feeling the Christmas spirit, we apologise. Please go and watch Home Alone, and you'll feel better.
How cool would it be if the skinny man, Walton Goggins, rocked up and Kris Kringle blasted out of the shed with all the reindeer and the sleigh and had a
Yeah.
Gatling gun and was just like...
That's what I said earlier. Like,
That's what this movie was going to give us.
That's what I said
And it
earlier.
never
I wanted
happened.
him to come out with his coat on with like shotguns or Gatling guns hidden under his coat, have some kind of one-liner, like some kind of Christmas-themed R-rated one-liner, and then get these Gatling guns out or something, or a bazooka or something. And I want it to be that level of ridiculous, like Jason Statham in The Meg punching a giant shark. That's the kind of ridiculous this film needed to be.
$20 million budget,
Yeah.
made $400,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they could afford to lose another $20 million on this. So
But that's the
I don't
thing,
think
if it was a
gonna
better
happen.
movie, it would have made more money.
Yeah, we would have said the same thing about Mortal Engines, mic drop.
Yeah, but Mortal Engines is actually good.
Hey, bring up the music.
The theme music.
Oh, look at that. It's time to go, isn't it? No, sir.
Hey, at least it was a new movie. That was cool. Good to
Yes,
see
it
a new
was
movie.
a new
Originally
movie.
written.
Yeah.
And
Good,
there you
bad
go.
movie.
Into the cinemas we went. Okay, so we have been the Trailer Island podcast, and this week we did Fat Man.
Fat Man, yeah.
That's what it was called, isn't it? Fat Man.
Yeah, I'm coming for your head, fat man.
And it got 5 out of 15, which is, by far the lowest score of the year. But hey, don't let that ruin your Christmas spirit because, if it's something you want to watch, you should be allowed to
Yeah.
do it. You can do what you want.
I told you it's a good, bad movie.
Yeah,
Make your own decision.
always go and make your own opinions about films. That's a very important thing. Go and see it for yourself and decide for yourself.
And then get in contact and tell us what you thought.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can always do that. And of course, you can do that through many, many ways. There's the website, contact@trailerisland.com.au. You can head to the Facebook page. Throw us a rating while you're there as well, because that really helps us build our audience. So look for the Trailer Island podcast. And of course, you can send any requests that you have. I think we've got a couple of requests coming up over the next month or so. So stay tuned, send in your request, get in contact with us, and we'll inevitably give it a crack. So we've been the Trailer Island podcast. I've been Alex. I've been joined by
Matthew.
Kris Kringle.
And Merry Christmas, everybody, and have a good, lovely Christmas time. See you this week.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
This is a Narrative Network podcast.